Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, I am so excited to bring back on one of my dear friends. He literally is one of the coolest people you will ever meet. Samir, he works with CareCredit and is just a delight of a human being. He's got so many resources on how we can help our patients get the treatment done. So Samir, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
I am doing great, and so good to see you. And thank you for the nice intro. I think I need to record you and use that every once in a while and remind myself. But thank you.
You're welcome.
You're very kind. I love doing what I do, and I love working with experts like you. So it just makes my job a lot of fun.
Well, Samir, you actually have like some of the best hair. You've got like such a suave voice. It just and you're a really nice person. So, I mean, you've got all the pieces going for you and you're a lot of fun. So, just grateful to have you on.
You made my year.
Thanks. I'm glad. Happy to have you. And this is going to be recorded for life. So every morning you can just, play it back, remind yourself how great you are. Just done for you, Samir. Everybody, awesome. That's the end of our show today. This was for some, but no, I'm really excited because I think right now, Samir, and I think you're seeing it as well. You guys work with hundreds of practices. CareCredit has always been my number one go-to. I know there's other financing programs out there. I know some people say you can get a cheaper interest rate, but I have always been pro CareCredit because it's easy. Most people have heard of it. They know what it is. It's money direct to the practice. You guys have really easy ways to get the patients financed. And for me, I wanted easy. I did not care for the financing ones, even though they're a little cheaper on maybe our fees that were so clunky and cumbersome and hard for me to I just wasn't going to use it. So I've always been a huge fan of CareCredit. Excited to have you on the show today. So if people haven't heard of CareCredit, Samir, kind of just walk them through what I feel like everyone should have heard of CareCredit by now, but if they haven't,
even if it's not in dentistry, they probably heard it in veterinarian or plastic or cosmetic or LASIK audiology. Good grief. But no, thank you for all that. But you're absolutely right. So for CareCredit, what I say is we help, at least in my world, we help patients smile. We help patients smile when they are ready to and when they want to, instead of having to pick and choose over what may be happening in their life. Their health is important. Everybody understands that. And that's what we at least help assist or try to help more patients get their smiles they want, or oral health they want and they need. So it's giving them the option of either having a deferred payment or a fixed interest promotion, whatever works in their lifestyle, whatever works in their budget. That's more important. Ultimately, it's all about the patient and what makes them feel comfortable with the treatment that's recommended, feel comfortable with the choices they're making, and definitely feel comfortable with the payment plan that fits their lifestyle, their budget.
Sure.
So I've been doing it for 35 years, gosh, and I wish I could say there's like new bells and whistles and something fantastic we do. It's not. It's when it comes at the core of it, we are pretty consistent in doing. And you're right. I mean, there are other patient financing companies, and here's the thing. I remember somebody once told me like the reason I am usually apprehensive for multiple reasons about having somebody is whoever I connect with is the extension of my brand. So if I work with company X, Y, or Z to a patient, that is the extension of my brand as well. So I want to be very careful. And second, nobody likes when you call 1-800 and nobody's home.
Yeah.
So yes, there will always be cheaper, faster, quicker, fancier, always. I mean, that's the world we live in, and that's what technology has gotten us. But think at the core of it, those are all great. And yes, it kind of help assist with those conversations, but it still does not take away from the value of the doctor speaking to the patient and convincing and giving the value. It's the treatment coordinator, the hygienist. That valuable conversation still doesn't get replaced. It doesn't matter how much of a new technology and how much faster, quick, or anything is. That is just nice to have.
Right.
So yeah, so that's just in a nutshell.
I love it. And I really liked what you said, because as a business owner, I do look at my fees. I look at the things I'm paying for. But I will tell you, the number one thing I actually look for is convenience and what will my team use. Because like Stripe actually charges a much higher percentage than our merchant. And I just know that. However, my team is going to use Stripe on a lot of our different things because it's just more convenient and easier for our clients to utilize. And could I push for something that's maybe the answer is yes. But like, I think about, as a treatment coordinator, I already am uncomfortable. A lot of treatment coordinators are uncomfortable talking about money. So then if we make it clunky and harder to use, then it's like one more barrier we're throwing on them to save a couple bucks, in my opinion. Rather look at what we're losing by not closing cases. So I really just look at like that. I know that's CareCredit's thing all around, and I hear it and I'm like, guys, I don't care, because as a business owner, I look at the ease, the simplicity, the convenience. That's something that my treatment coordinator is going to build confidence on and is going to be able to close more cases. So I don't work for CareCredit. I love what you guys do, and I will always rally for CareCredit all the time.
And here is something that you said. Now let's add one more layer to that, is the challenge that most offices, at least the ones I've spoken to on a regular basis, most of us are feeling with the team and lack thereof. Not having a full team. So now let's just think about, okay, so I am already making it harder and clunkier and complicated to use, to a person that already has 18 other things to do, to a team that is short in people and not have the full team. Do you really want to? I mean, think about it from if somebody was to do a time and motion study, I don't know,
that'd be pretty awesome. Could you imagine?
Well, I know,
it'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. And that's when you start to look at it, just like business person, like you said, at some point in time, you have to step back and say, somebody said, like, convenience is the new currency. What is convenient, what is easier? And that's why we are always looking at, with as many practice management softwares we're integrated with, just for that same reason. If I live and breathe in working with the Dentrix, the EagleSoft, the Open Dentals of the world, why would I want for the team member to get out of there, go to another website, do something else? We're integrated to keep it convenient, keep it faster. Again, remember, those are just a nice to have, and it's there for them. But what I actually had one of the doctors say, like, listen, I have used you guys, I've had you guys, I also have other companies, but I am more picky about it now because I don't have a full team, and I cannot add one more thing for them to know, learn, and add one more barrier to that conversation that patients and my team are not going to be comfortable with. So, And it doesn't add up to a great experience of a patient either. The team is stressed, the doctor is stressed, it's moving fast, and the patient feels it, and then you end up, I know most people don't try to, and they don't intentionally do it, but you end up sacrificing something somewhere without realizing it.
For sure. I completely agree with you, Samir. And I really love that notion of convenience is the new currency. And I would agree, like online scheduling, that is going to be today. Online payments. Guys, if you're sending statements and you don't have online payments, you are in the past and you will be left behind. It's innovation, creation, making things convenient for patients. So in that same vein, Samir, I think you guys have done something really, really brilliant that I want to talk about of helping, because when we look at it, I go back to my days of treatment coordinating, and the thing that scared me the most was being rejected. Like, complete honesty. I did not want to present you, Samir, a treatment plan of say $2,000, because I look at you and while you're suave, I'm like, can he afford $2,000? I can't afford $2,000. I can afford $200. So I'm just going to present to you the filling, and really uncomfortable on presenting those full treatment plans because I was so scared of that rejection. So you guys have done some different things. Like, let's talk through that, because I really do believe people they know that they want to do the dentistry. They know they believe in their doctor, but they're just scared of that conversation. I was scared. Like the only way I got out of it was doing it a lot and
Yeah.
having treatment plans that I'm like, oh, we're buying a boat today. I don't even know what to say. Like, and you
Yeah.
swiped your credit card. I didn't even know credit cards could have that big of a limit. So that was like my real world experience. But you guys have done some things realizing that that's what most treatment coordinators struggle with. So let's kind of talk through some of these,
Yeah.
like you said, training wheels, if you will, to help
Yeah.
people get more comfortable with those conversations.
No, it's such a great point because I mean, even when I was a rep, and I've been with the company now over 16 years, and that was always, and it hasn't changed in 16 years. I still walk into offices when I walk in with our reps. Yes, you can hear, they will tell you 18 different reasons as to why they don't offer, they don't have the time to, or is the reason why they don't present patient financing because their demographics are too rich, too poor. Just pick one of them. But really, if we actually end up having a very honest conversation, like you just said, honestly, that was the biggest concern. It was not, as it is, we understand the patients are already overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. They don't want to be there. I love and we love this profession. I think it's one of the most fantastic professions that we get to serve.
It's the most hated
We
one,
love it.
Samir. It's okay. Nobody likes the dentist. There's like 1% of weird people that like us. Like,
I
we get it.
know.
It's
That's
totally,
what
you're
I said. I
right.
said
It's
you.
not a
So
liked profession.
it's not a liked profession. So I, as a patient, don't want to be there. And they have no qualms in even telling the office, I don't want to be here, and nothing like hearing that every day. So they don't want to be here. They don't want to be here. Then they find out the amount of dollar amount of work they're going to need, how much work they're going to need. Then they find out what their benefits may or may not cover. Then they find out that it's almost sometimes it's an urgency. And then they find out there's this big dollar amount that's been thrown at them and they need to just pay. So as it is, we're dealing with a patient that's very anxious, very overwhelmed, etc. Now let's add, we try, and I have seen it, I have seen teams do it over and over again, and they do their best to make sure that the patient is having, they feel like they're taken care of, they feel comfortable, etc. But when it comes to money, it's almost like everything falls apart. And now to that add the fact that I'm going to present this, I'm going to discuss patient financing, and if they don't get approved, I just took from an overwhelming to a very uncomfortable conversation. Nothing like saying, I'm sorry, Kiera, you did not get approved, or you were, I hope nobody says you were rejected of your
I've heard
application.
it.
Just,
I've heard it.
right? So, but it doesn't make for, so now overwhelmed to negative, and now we could possibly put the patient feels embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens at that point in time is, I want to get out of the situation quick. I want to talk to my husband. I want to talk to my wife, whatever their reasons they're giving,
Yep.
and they walk away. So we've had this tool for a very, very long time, and we just kind of put it on steroids. And we just started talking more and more about it because COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, doesn't matter how you look at it. The patient base is more savvy. I want most offices, I think they understand that they are more coming in with a little bit more information. The last 2 years of being at home, they have gotten used to more using technology and understanding what their options are.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have an honest and open conversation. So we have a tool and a resource that's available to most offices. I would ask them, it's like, listen, Kiera, so would it help you if I was to give you like this crystal ball? And would it help you if you knew ahead of time which patients that are coming in today, off of the patients that are coming in today, who may get approved by CareCredit if they were to apply?
Yep.
And 9.9 out of 10 times it was like, yeah, because that is my biggest concern. And I
Right.
don't want to be that bearer of bad news. So like, all right, so that's what I call it. It's like, let's use training wheels. Let's use this concept as training wheels. So there is a tool that's available to them, whether they go to our website or through their practice management software. It's called Quickscreen. And Quickscreen, in a very layman's term, does what you will see when you get the Visa MasterCard approvals that says,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you've been pre-approved or you've been. So Quickscreen really just does that. It's like it takes a quick look at your information, which is mostly name and address. So we're not using patient social security numbers, so it doesn't take it doesn't hit their credit. So all we're looking at is based on the information, this very generic information of name and address and how much dollar amount you're looking for, will the patient get approved? It may come back. Mind you, also, as a full disclaimer, because we're only putting very basic information. And so if you had John Smiths and there's like 1,000 John Smiths in your town, then you may have a chance that it may not be all accurate.
Sure.
Keeping that in mind, majority of the times when it comes back as pre-approved or some of those terms, you can be very, very, very confident that all the patient has to do is apply for a CareCredit application for a credit card, and they will get approved. There's a very high probability. That in itself should be seen as, okay, I feel comfortable that I know I did a quick screen on 20 patients that were coming in today. I did it on all of them. 4 of them were pre-approved. Now, use how you can use that information. It could be, could be part of the morning huddle meeting, could be taking a look at what kind of treatment there is. There a pending treatment? Is there treatment for their family members? Because what at this point in time is the money objection has already been addressed.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be, the patient may end up paying with their credit card or cash or check, however, but at least you know that if it comes down to patient financing or financing, that objection has been addressed. So let's take advantage of that. Let's talk about that. And it's a great way to have those good days, good productive days, if you have a daily production goal, it's a good way to see how many patients can get approved. You present it to them, your verbiage will change, your body language will change because you come in across as a very confident person.
Totally.
And this is where my team can actually help. How do you verbalize? Your team is very, very good at helping them what kind of verbiage you can use to express that, to have that discussion in a very open, honest, and confident way.
For sure.
And I always recommend, here. So it's if you don't know who to use it on, let's start with new patients.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what they're going to need. You have no idea how they're going to pay. Why not? Let's start there. If your focus is on aligners, why not do those? If you found a candidate, let's do that. We've actually even made it easier when the patient sometimes will say, I don't know if I'll get approved. We actually have, using their QR code, they can just do right on their phone without running their credit. It will tell them if they're going to get approved or not.
It's
Again,
unreal.
Adding that level. Yeah.
It's unreal, Samir, because you're like, this to me is mind-blowing awesome, because you're right. It was always awkward. And I was in a practice, a couple months ago, and I like to throw myself back into the roles, right? When you leave the practice and you were really great a few years ago, like, do I still have my swagger or have I lost it? So I will throw myself back in the chair. And there was a team, and it was the end of the day. I get it. They were tired. I'd been there the whole day with them. But at the same time, there was a patient who was there, and he was like, well, is there any financing options? And the team was like, well, I don't know. And I said, do we have a CareCredit? Like, do we do anything? And like, oh, you could take this application home. And I my eyes were popping out of my head, and I just went into full on TC mode, not consultant. I know I should have trained, but I'm like, I cannot sit here and watch this anymore. Yeah. So I was like, hey, let's actually try and get you approved. I actually think I sent you an email, Samir, of like, hey, they need the QR code here, because that would have made this so much easier. Yeah. Look to see if we could get this patient approved. And sure enough, the patient, he didn't qualify for the total amount of treatment. However, he did qualify for something. So we were then able to take that information and now apply it to his treatment plan. Patient scheduled. This is a patient who had been coming in. They're like, Kiera, he has no money. And I was like, guys, we always pass judgment and we don't know. Unless you've tried to approve them, things change. I just love that you've taken that risk out of there, because it's so passive when I hear offices just hand out the application, fill it in. I'm like, that's hard. You guys have made it so easy. We now can do a quick pre-screen, see if these patients could even be qualified. There's the QR code, which I would say offices, if you have CareCredit and you don't have that QR code, it's completely changing. I'm going to add a third thing. I do actually consult one corporate practice. Yeah. They are incredible. They act just like a private practice. They just happen to have a corporate entity associated with them. But I'll be
Sure.
honest, like they will whoop most practices' booties when it comes to pre-approvals because in
Uh,
corporate, they do
yeah.
track how many times you actually pre-approved patients. And I will
Yeah.
say their case acceptance usually trumps most of the private practices I work for. And it's because it's a metric that's actually tracked. So I'm
Yes.
not saying private practices have to go that route. I'm just trying to make the point that if we don't ask, if we don't offer it, our answer is always no. And I
Yeah.
think like to the point of when I like went into full TC mode, more patients actually I think get approved than not approved. Yes, there might be an awkward conversation, but like let's shift it. Instead of it being an awkward conversation, it's now just information. I say it's
Yeah.
information. Perfect. That one didn't work. Let's see if we could get approved at the bank.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could get approved here. Let's see if there's other options that I can scale treatment. Like there's 1,000 other options. So instead of
Yeah.
viewing it as a rejection, like I was scared of, let's
Yeah.
view this as just information. But Samir, you have literally taken the stress out of treatment planning, made it to where
Good.
it's like a no-brainer. Like, yes, I'm going to ask. And I also love that you took it a few steps further of if that patient, so let's say I'm the patient that got pre-approved. I mean, Kiera's a unique name, Samir's a unique name. Like you could probably find us without running a
Yeah.
credit check on us.
Yes.
But if you find out I have it, but I don't actually need treatment, I love that you said go to the family members because there's money sitting there that we could
Mhm.
utilize that this patient might not even realize is available to them. Hello, Dental Team listeners. What would it take for you guys to just completely and utterly change your practice? Like truly, if you think about it, because for me, I know oftentimes it's just having somebody right by my side, pushing me along, holding me accountable, having somebody to spin ideas off of. And honestly, that's all it takes most of the time for us to go from good to great. Usually it's taking the knowledge that we learn and actually executing it. That's why I would love to invite you to join our Platinum Virtual, where we do a coaching call, a Zoom team training. We invite you to our community, and we just really dive deep with you. We're that partner right by you to help you go from good to great. So if you're wanting to join, take your practice to the next level, and you know it's time for you to implement, execute, and go to that next level, email us hello@thedentalteam.com, and I would be so excited to welcome you as our newest Platinum Virtual member. Can't wait to see you there.
Absolutely. And you know, and that's the hard part of it is because we all have heard it like 1,000 times, don't judge the book by its cover. And we're humans. We still end up doing it. And I don't think we intentionally do it. And I think you said in the beginning, I believe as well that patients actually want to get that treatment. They really believe in what you're asking them, what you're recommending it to them. We just need to not only tell them this is what you need, but this is how we can get you there as well. And what this does is the whole thing, it kind of going back and forth about the whole experience, the confidence. If I make it a big deal, Kiera, oh, you don't get approved. Oh, okay, well, here's the brochure. Well, it then becomes a big deal.
Right.
Oh, it's $5,000. It's $10,000. I know it's a lot of money. You make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal. The moment you get, not even like knee to knee, you get side to side with the patient and have that conversation that I know most team members are genuinely very empathetic people. You will speak their language. And here's the other part of it. People who don't have great credits or are going through something in their life that's gotten them in that position are rarely ever surprised when it doesn't go through.
That's a good point.
But what you said it, and I have seen it time and time again, and I have had offices tell me like, I had a patient, they didn't think they were going to get approved and they got approved. It's like, exactly. I mean, because thinking of a healthcare credit card, it's not the same as me applying for a Nordstrom or another credit card where it's a lot of fun. But this is truly a healthcare need. So and we are in serving that patient in the profession of serving that patient and making them healthy, then let's not intentionally or unintentionally. I think the more we become aware of what we just did not do or what we could have done, makes us better the next day as a dentist, as a treatment coordinator, as a hygienist, as a dental assistant, is understanding and recognizing and owning to say, you know what, I'm going to at least give it a try before I say it doesn't work.
Sure.
So, and don't say give it a try for a day and it doesn't work and it doesn't work. And just like anything else, do it, have somebody by your side. My team will help them. They would be happy to kind of assist them. Your team is already helping them. They have the resources, they've got the support system around them. Embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it, and you will be amazed that the tools that are available, it is out there. They are available for you to, we understand how much you're doing in a day, and sometimes money is like literally only a very small portion of your conversation, but it is a critical portion of the conversation. So you've got the team around you, you've got the people rooting for you, you've got the resources and the tools available to you. All you have to do is raise your hand and say, hey, how can I, and
Right.
what do I need to do?
Well, and I think
And
to
we're
that
there.
point, I think it's just like, let's give some how to's. I love that you said start with new patients because that's an easy new person to the practice. They don't know you, there's no history.
Yeah,
I also love that you mentioned if there's a certain procedure you're looking to do more of,
yeah,
whether it's clear aligners, Invisalign, implants, great place to start on that one as well. And I would just say set a goal. If you're currently doing 0, let's go 1. If you're
yeah,
currently doing 1, let's just do 20% more.
yeah.
20% more than you're currently doing. The reason I do 20% is because I just took a course, and if I increase 20% of our clients, like the leads into our company, you increase your new patients by 20%, you can grow your business by 100%. So that's why I'm going to go with 20% because it's crazy
I love
cool.
it.
The math is insane. But let's
Yeah,
say I'm seeing one patient. Well, 20% of 1 is zero point 0.2. So I'm going to do it to 2 patients. If I'm
yeah.
currently giving it to 4 patients, 20% of that, again, we're just going to add like 1 to
Uh,
it. That's not even
yeah.
20%. So I would say maybe instead of 20%, let's just add 1 more because I would venture to guess that most practices on average are not offering CareCredit every single day. They're not doing patient financing every day. But if
Right.
you are, let's just add 1 more than you currently would do. I think that's a very easy number for you guys to add on. If you're doing nobody, then great, you're already ahead. But the bottom line is just start and do 1 more. I'd rather you go for 1 more than trying to do 10 in a day. You'll probably
Yeah,
fizzle out and fade. But just doing
yeah,
1 more than you're currently doing today is going to
yeah.
help do the quick scan like Samir was talking about. Talk to your CareCredit reps. Samir can get you connected. If you guys don't know who your rep is, email us hello@thedentalateam.com. I will send it right to Samir. Samir will give you his info. But like you said, there, in my opinion, you've eliminated so many of the reasons that team members won't do this to where there really are no other excuses other than me just not wanting to go forward. So that's just a hard look in the mirror of why, because
Yeah.
I want to help my patients. I want to give them this great dentistry. I want to help them. And I come to it not that it's me versus the patient. I look at it as it's me and the patient, and my job as a treatment coordinator is to find the solution for them to get the dentistry. That's it.
Yeah.
Like we're partnered together. I'm in this with you. I'm going to utilize my resources of CareCredit, maybe 2 payments. Maybe there's family member. Maybe I need to push it out a couple of months. Like there's so many things I can do, but it
Yeah.
really comes down to I'm advocating for the patient. I'm going to utilize my resources, and I'm not just going to be lazy about it. And I say that with like massive respect because when I see offices just hand out an application to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
we could go 1 notch further and we could really help this patient out. Like, why am I waiting for them to call me back and say they never did CareCredit? That's like an automatic no. Let's do something a little bit more. And honestly, Samir, what you guys have, it makes it to where it's a no-brainer. Patients can scan, you can quick scan. You really could add 1 more patient financing per day. So that would be my suggestion, Samir. Any other pieces you want to add to that?
No, that's perfect because yeah, I mean, and if the audience are confused with the percentages, I am positive we're in the middle of the week. You and I are talking.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back just the last 2 days, I'm quite sure you can think of at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 patients that is like, oh, they would have been they could. I think they were a little concerned, and we could have had that conversation. I mean, right there, you went from 0 to 4. You didn't have to go too far, and this is just this week. So I love it that just start there. Start, make an effort. Don't be afraid that it may not work the first time the way you want to. Nothing ever usually does. I mean, it does take a little bit of practice, and it will start to become the rhythm of what you do, how you do, the conversations you have. It becomes your second nature. But yes, I mean, we are here. We are here. You can definitely, again, I know, of course, Kira is a great person to send an email and say, I need some help and who is my rep, and then she'd be happy to connect. I'll be happy to take over. or you can email me directly at sbhasin@carecredit.com. But, you know, you have a great resource around you.
There's
So
no
I'm
reason
grateful.
not to. It's just,
Yeah.
it's easy. When you were saying that, I love that you said just go back, take a look at it. Very simple things that we could do. So I would say, guys, at this point, there's no other thing. So what I'd say is, I am a really bad workouter. I want a six pack after I've done 10 sit-ups, and I run to the mirror, look in the mirror, and when I don't have a six pack, I'm like, forget it. We're going to go hit up donuts.
Yeah.
But that's not how this is going to work out. So I'm going to call it the 6-week patient financing challenge. And I would
Oh,
say, because I think it takes, just like perio patients, we have them come back in 6 weeks to check to see, are those pockets healing? Do we need to work on an area? And I really
I
think
love it.
6 weeks is an easy one. So it's just over a month. It's not a
Yeah.
28-day challenge. It's a 6-week challenge. So take a look today at the calendar and let's go 6 weeks out. And I would encourage you to also look to see how many patients are you financing. That's question
Yeah.
number one. We've got to get real honest with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't lie. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
real. I do sit-ups maybe once every 6 months. Like, if I'm really honest with myself, it's not very often. So got to get
Yeah.
a true honest baseline. Then let's
Yeah.
say we're going to add at least 10% more. So if I'm doing 6, 10% of 6 is 0.6. So I really can't add a half a person. So I've got to go up to 7. So we're going to round up. I'm going to do
Yeah.
7 patients per week. And I'm going to tally this over 6 weeks. I'm not going to
Yeah.
ask you to be perfect, because let's be real, 6 times 6 or 7 times 6, what is that, 42?
42.
Like, going back to my times tables there. But then I know I want to be talking to 42 patients between now and my 6-week deadline. So I think that that's an easy way for us to not just sit here on the sideline. I said it on another podcast earlier of, knowledge is great. Execution wins, though. So we've got to
Always.
execute every day. Execution will whoop knowledges every single day. So
Every single day.
that's what I'd
Yeah.
say. Plan out 6 weeks. Figure out the number of patients you're going to do patient financing with. And then if CareCredit is a great solution for your practice, fantastic. If you don't have the QR codes, you don't have the quick scan, for sure do it. If you utilize other patient financing, fantastic. You're still invited to the challenge.
Yeah.
But I definitely am pro CareCredit all day long. And so if you're not utilizing CareCredit, maybe try it out. But I understand the goal of this is to just start offering and asking for patient financing. That's
Yes.
all the goal is, because that way, for me, it's not a goal of I want to get more patient financing. That's more patients I'm helping. More patients
There
I'm
you go.
getting, like you said, what was it? Like, we help patients smile. We're just getting
Yeah.
more patients to be confident with their smiles and get back to optimal health. So I think, I mean, Samir, what do you think about a 6-week patient financing
I love
challenge?
it. I love it. It's simple, it's easy, and I think everybody should sign up.
So
You should.
if you're committed to it, because I always like commitments, email me hello@thedentalateam.com and say, I'm in the 6-week patient financing challenge. Because I believe that when you actually commit, when you send it to somebody, you truly are committed. Guys, I will respond back to you. I will cheer you on. But really, email us hello@thedentalateam.com. You can email Samir, sbasim@carecredit.com. Is that right?
That is correct.
If you don't know how to spell Basim, like I didn't, that's S as in Sam, B as in boy, H as in, let's do Harry, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, I as in Igloo, N as in Nancy, sbasim@carecredit.com. So try it out, guys. But at the end of the day, let's just help more patients is really the goal. So you could call it the more patient help 6-week challenge. But the goal is let's start financing more patients to help them out. And you'll realize how easy this conversation can be once you start having it.
Yeah. And it's a win-win. It's a win for you. It's a win for the team. And it's most importantly, win for the patient. And like you said, Kiera, it's not about CareCredit. It's about whatever system works best for you. Whatever diet works best for you, whatever exercise that works best for you, but just commit to doing it. So I'm here. I'm so glad that we got a chance to chat about it a little bit. And, anything I can do at any point in time, happy to do it, willing to do it, love to do it.
Yes, guys, truly take him up on it. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. So if you don't know who your CareCredit rep is, if you haven't seen them, email Samir. He will literally, he's lightning fast. He'll get back to you. He'll tell you who it is. You'll be in contact with them. I've done it in practices when I'm noticing they're not doing as much financing or they don't have the QR code. So just take action, guys, because at the end of the day, let's help more patients smile. And Samir, I just appreciate you. So thanks for taking time out of your day. I know you just flew in, so thanks for taking time to be on the podcast today. I super appreciate you.
Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you. And I can't wait to hear how we do.
I know.
Yeah.
Bring it on, guys. The 6-week patient smile challenge. Let's do it. Let's help more patients. And as always, guys, thank you for listening. Take some massive action, and I will catch you next time on the Dental 18 podcast.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental 18 podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.